Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Jennifer Tobin, and I am the Assistant Director of the Natural Hazards Center here at the University of Colorado Boulder. I would like to welcome you all to this informal informational question and answer session for our sixth call for proposals for the Weather Ready Research Award Program, which is focused today on tornado ready research and data publication. And before we jump in, I would just like to take a moment to thank the entire team at the Natural Hazards Center, as well as our partners at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for helping to build this call and make this award funding possible. We're so very proud of this ongoing partnership we have with NOAA and the many ways that this program has already contributed to improving knowledge and practice in the weather-ready space. And just so you know, this meeting is being recorded, so we can post it back to our special call page for anyone who could not attend this in person today. And as we go along with this presentation, I invite anyone visiting to please put your questions and answers in the chat box as we move along so we can make sure and answer those in the question and answer portion of this presentation. Okay, so our main objectives today are to learn about the Tornado Ready Research Award Program, to discuss the NOAA NSF collaborative support for the program, to review the current call for proposals, to discuss deliverables and key considerations, and finally, and most importantly, we do want to hear from anyone attending today to answer any questions you might have in preparation for applying for this award funding. Okay, so the Weather Ready Research Award Program was first established in 2020 and is generously funded by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Weather Program Office, National Weather Service, National Severe Storms Laboratory, and the National Science Foundation. This is one of 4 research award programs that we have here at the Natural Hazards Center. And to date, we have released 6 calls for weather ready research, including this one. The first 3 are now closed, and calls 4, 5, and 6 are open for submissions. More information about past and current weather ready research calls can be found on our website, and Mary will drop the link in the chat, the one that's here on this slide, for all of you to access that. Okay, now I would like to introduce the mastermind and champion behind this call for tornado research, Alan Gerard. Alan is the chief of the Warning Research and Development Division of the National Severe Storms Lab at NOAA. He is a meteorologist and has been in this position since 2015. And prior to becoming the chief of WRDD, he had a 25-year career in the National Weather Service as an operational meteorologist. Alan has been instrumental in helping to design and develop the call for tornado research and data publication. We are so thankful for his partnership and support to make this program possible. So please join me in giving Alan a virtual warm welcome. And now I'll turn it over to you, Alan, to say a few words about the program.
Thanks, Jennifer. You all can still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay, great. So first off, I just want to thank Jennifer and the team at the Hazard Center for all of their collaboration and support with this. We're really excited about this project kicking off. And I want to thank not only Jennifer and Lori and the team up there, but of course our team on the NOAA side, Kenzie Krochik, Cody Berry, Justin Sharp from CIRO. They've played an instrumental role in the development of this project as well, and the WPO team, Gina and Cass and the group up there. But just to give everybody a little bit of background, Vortex is a congressionally mandated research program that started back in 2015 as the Vortex Southeast program and has evolved and expanded over the years to encompass a broader mandate from Congress to really look at trying to improve tornado warnings, not only the physical science, but especially the social science and the understanding and actions that are taken from by the public and by society in general based on the information they're getting from NOAA. So we really view this call as an integral part of helping us to do the research and try to get the research findings to help us improve our warning and forecast services to the public and society for tornadoes and severe weather. And this concept of getting information quickly after events is really going to be a core aspect, I feel like, for NOAA going forward and trying to better understand not just tornado forecasts and warnings and how the public uses them, but all of our weather information in general. So, and hydrologic information, water information. So we're really excited, really appreciate NHC working with us to host this project and lead this project, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes from it.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan, so much. Okay. Going here. Okay, so as Alan was alluding to, this call was inspired by the fact that each year an estimated 1,200 tornadoes touch down in the United States. And despite progress in communicating risks, these storms lead to widespread damage, social disruption, injuries, and death. And so therefore, this call is focused on advancing research that can improve outcomes for at-risk and socially marginalized groups. You can find all of the details for this tornado call on our website listed below and in the chat. There are 3 tracks of funding. Tracks 1 and 2 will support research awards up to $15,000. Track 1 supports research activities that take place before a tornado occurs. For example, forecasting, risk perception, institutional decision-making, preparedness, mitigation, etc. Track 2 supports research that focuses on a specific tornado event. So these are things like how forecasts and warnings were received and understood, sheltering or evacuation behavior, tornado impacts, displacement, rebuilding, recovery. And so for this track, we're interested in looking at tornado events that have been to be studied that must have occurred on or after January 1st, 2023. So any events that have occurred since then can be studied for this proposal. And then finally, track 3 will support awards of up to $1,200 to $2,500. The $1,200 awards are for proposals that plan to publish research protocols and instruments only, while the $2,500 awards are for proposals that plan to publish both data and the research instruments and protocols. Okay, so tracks 1 and 2 do require that all awardees submit information through our online form, as well as download a proposal template and submit a 5-page single-spaced research proposal, following all of the guidelines outlined on the submission page. For track 3 submissions, you're only required to fill out an online submission form. And all proposals are due by 5 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on August 9th, 2024. For this call, we are interested in research focused on settings that serve or house socially marginalized populations, such as schools or childcare centers, hospitals, nursing homes or other elder care facilities, faith-based organizations, correctional facilities, mobile and manufactured homes, or another identified population of interest. And so to give some examples, some questions of interest include, but are not limited to, the following questions. So how do decision makers receive and process tornado information and ultimately decide what protective actions to recommend for socially marginalized populations? Are decision makers using tornado forecast information before tornado events? And if so, how? Who helps the decision makers, staff, and diverse groups act in the face of an impending tornado threat? What adaptive sheltering options are available for socially marginalized populations, and how do socially marginalized populations understand tornado information and then also apply it during preparedness, emergency response, or recovery? Okay, so when designing your research plan and proposal, there are some key considerations that researchers should be aware of. First, please make sure your proposal includes a clear timeline for data collection, analysis, publication, and report writing. The final report for tracks 1 and 2 will be due within 6 months of award activation. And the deliverables for track 3 are due within 3 months of award activation. So given this short time frame for research, researchers may need to begin collecting data prior to funding being issued. We cannot extend deliverable deadlines due to delays in funding. And so you do have paperwork you have to submit in order for us to process the payment, and that can take some time through the University of Colorado Boulder. So we're just letting you know that. IRB approval or exemption must be submitted before data collection can begin. The lead investigator, as designated in the proposal, must be from an academic institution based in a U.S. state or territory or tribal nation. Co-authors, though, however, are allowed to be from non-academic organizations or outside of the U.S. So the award money can only be distributed to up to 3 people for this award. Payments will be sent directly to award recipients, to the individuals, not to universities. And awardees will be solely responsible for all and any tax reporting and ramifications that come along from receiving the money. The University of Colorado Boulder will report payments to taxing jurisdictions. Okay. So by February, in terms of deliverables, by February 2023, February 23rd, 2025, track 1 and 2 awardees must submit a 20-page double-spaced research report summarizing the findings of the research. Prior to submission, we do ask that you download the report template, which is available on our website, and closely follow all of the submission guidelines. And then for track 3, the deliverables are that awardees must publish data and or research instruments on DesignSafe, and then submit a data publication checklist and a publication template to the Natural Hazards Center by no later than November 23rd, 2024. And so the publication template is actually something you should download in advance, because it'll walk you through the exact steps for how to publish your data and instruments online. So make sure you download that, and then you follow all the instructions, and then you fill out all the parts that ask you to fill something out. And then you also, once it's completed, that you fill out the data publication checklist and then return both of those things to us. Okay, so thank you all for listening. I'm now happy to turn it over to our question and answer portion of the meeting and hear from all of you. I will check the chat box right now to see if anyone's left any questions, which I don't see. And I know there's only a few of us on the call today, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to come off mute. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my slide here so I can see who's on the call. Okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I know there's only a couple of us, so Megan or Rosie, do either of you have anything you would like to ask? Or does any of the NOAA team have anything else you would like to share?
I can just share to give people a few minutes to kind of process and think about things. Thank you again, NHC team, for putting it together. On the NOAA side, we're really excited for this. We're really excited to see this call come back out with some modernization, if you will. We're really excited to see the kinds of research going on in the community so that we can really focus on building a cohort of researchers with this award tracks 1 and 2 to try to really tackle a big problem in a lot of different ways. So thank you all to the wonderful work you already do, and we're happy to answer questions about the proposed research questions that Jen went through, the form and function of the awards, how any of this works, or anything along those lines, from logistical to content.
Sandra.
Can I ask a question or comment, Jen? Would that be okay?
Of course.
So I know we went through and we talked about this, and we were framing what would be the socially marginalized populations, and that was of real interest to me. And I hadn't thought of prison populations at the time, and that's something that Laurie said. I was like, oh wow, that really got my brain going. And then I'm actually writing up like my own research from when we went to Mayfield, Kentucky, and there was one thing down there was a candle factory was destroyed, and 9 people lost their lives in that candle factory. But what I didn't realize in that candle factory was that there were 7 employees, I'm going to use that term very loosely, who were basically from a local prison who were working there at the time. So I just wanted to say that when we're thinking about prison populations, they might be in the population, but in a way that we've not thought about. I also happen to know, and there's ongoing lawsuits from other people who were there and involved in that, that they weren't in the safest of places. So it was just something I just wanted to kind of bring up and suggest that, oh, actually, there are other places you might look. So I'm not trying to muddy the waters in any way, but it was just something that triggered my thought process.
Yeah, that is fascinating. And so those day release programs is probably what you're talking about, because people get to leave the facilities and then they have to be there the nights and weekends. And so it is interesting to wonder who is responsible for the safety of these people when they go to do these jobs, but they're also incarcerated. So that is a really fantastic question. And I don't know if you've looked into the work of Carly Purdom at all. She's been doing some great work around disasters and incarceration. And we had her on a panel last year at the Natural Hazards Workshop, and she does such great work looking at things like heat in the prisons, deaths that are related to disasters, actions or inactions being taken that are compromising the safety of incarcerated peoples and their families. So really look into that.
Thank you. If you could put that in the chat, I'd like that.
Absolutely. She's at Texas A&M. Let me write that out. Or actually, it's Purdum, Prdum, I think is how you spell her last name.
I have a question regarding outcomes. So
Yeah.
you had mentioned that this is kind of very relevant into improving outcomes for socially marginalized people. So I was curious, when you're reviewing proposals, what will you guys be really considering? Considering outcome measurement is kind of difficult.
Yeah, I don't think that we need, definitely, especially at the proposal phase, for you to, provide proof of outcomes to happen or anything like that, or data associated with it, but really to say, like, this research could improve the outcomes of X population because it's going to look into these dynamics, or whatever your focus is. It's almost like if you're drafting for NSF one of their intellectual merits or broader impact statements, like it would be like a broader impact statement area where you could say why this research matters and how it's going to improve outcomes.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. Megan, are you thinking about applying?
I am, yes. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr.
Oops, your audio just went out.
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
Oh.
I'm Dr. Jen Henderson's PhD student at Texas Tech. And yeah,
Yeah.
we're hoping to apply to this and hopefully use it as my dissertation research.
That is amazing. We love that. I love Jen Henderson. She is fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah, I love working with her.
Can you tell us a little bit about your work that you're thinking?
Yeah, sorry if I go on mute. My dogs, for some reason, are barking. But I'm really interested in southeastern tornado vulnerability, specifically in communities of color, and how we can kind of view vulnerability from a critical standpoint. So how is vulnerability actually manifested as a condition versus something that is just kind of static, as it can be understood from the literature. So kind of taking a critical approach to vulnerability and seeing how it's actually experienced, and how that can be further investigated with this call. So I'm
Great.
hoping to do track 2 with a case study.
Nice. I love it. Okay, I think I'm going to count to 10 and see if anybody has anything else they want to share. And then at that point, I'm probably going to end the meeting. Okay, everyone, and if you're also watching this video after the fact, please know you can always reach out to me at jennifer.l.tobin@colorado.edu or through our Hazards Research Award email, which you can find online. I'm happy to answer any questions along the way as you're preparing your proposal or as you're doing your research. So please know you're always welcome just to reach out if you have questions. Thank you all again for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.